Hello again, folks. Burrito comes here once more, concluding this week's set of videos with one more modern one. This is Abzan Company versus Martyr Proclamation Control, or Mono White Martyr Control, whichever way you want to call it. But it's actually not anything very close to Soul Sisters. It is close, but it's much more controlish. It does have main deck Breath of God and things of that nature, and it has Ghostly Prisons in there too. So it's not your typical White Winnie life gain deck, but it's sort of similar because there is Martyr, there is the Ascendant, and I did actually playtest this matchup with some kind of hybrid, which was not exactly company deck. It was playing all the combos, all the creature combos in Abzan colors, and I did beat it, this Martyr control deck, quite assuredly. But this is something I'm fine playing again. It's a very fun matchup. A lot of crazy things are happening, a lot of powerful things. My opponent is taking a mulligan here. Not enough lands, not very great sequences in his hand. So he wants something more stable. Kept my hand. It wasn't something spectacular, but it was very solid. Typically, you want some combo pieces in your hand, at least a couple of lands, some noble or a bird, and maybe one company or a Chord of Calling or something like that. Goes to 6, now he can scry. I think I saw a Breath God in his hand already, a Wayfarer. It's another difference with this type of build of the life deck. Goes to scry, tanks for a while, decides to keep it on top. Razorverse Figure into bird. Planes into what? He doesn't want to play Martyr right there because if I have a removal, he wants to have mana untapped for it so that he can gain some life. So he decided to play the Soul Ascendant, I believe that's the name. So that's the lifelink guy, and right now it's 1-1, but when he has 30 or more life, this guy actually gets +5 and flying. So it basically your Baneslayer for 1 mana, which requires a little bit of work. I went in to fetch a second land and Wall of Roots, decreasing its toughness a little bit to cast a Melira as well in the same turn. And I believe I had a Kitchen Finks in my hand, so I was one combo piece away from comboing. And his deck is not really good at answering the infinite life combo. Ghost Quarter and the Martyr for him. He gets to crack it. 4 white cards in hand, that means +12 life. That puts him at 32. That means that his Ascendant is active, so he's free to attack for 6 here and gain 6 more life. Has a path in hand, which is worrisome because that means is that unless I can go for a combo this turn, it will be pretty hard for me to combo in the near future. And I'm already down to 11 thanks to Vigilant plus a shock and the attack from the Ascendant, which I jokingly call Flight Attendant. It just sounds similar to me somehow. Okay, crick another fetch, going to 10, fetching up a forest. Nice Christmassy, wintry, decorated Odyssey forest. 3 mana using the wall, casting a company here. I think I have Viscercer in hand, so I was mistaken. It was Viscercer, not kitchen things. And I was hoping to flip one of the 4 kitchen things so that I can actually combo here. And it was a very sad company, even though it's game 1, and I still just hit Noble Hero and saw like a path, another company, and some lands. Playing the Sorcerer anyway. Protects my stuff from path somewhat. He's 2 lands away from wrapping my board, but this is something he wouldn't want to do anyway because this 6/6 flying lifelinker is putting me to test. He goes for a path on Martyr, but I think he should have actually pathed the Viscercer, because I just ate the Martyr and got to scry. I didn't really need that land, because I wanted to scry into some form of removal or a flyer for the Cenotaph, because I have the bird, but this is not the situation where I want to necessarily chump. If I can avoid that. He's at 41 and I'm just at 4. I can't block with the ground guy, so I might as well attack for a couple of damage. Have the path for the Ascendant that gives him the 3rd land, one way land away from casting Wrath to wipe my board. I don't think I had much else action in my hand here. Or maybe I did. He cast just a Wayfarer, which is not active at this point. I'm thinking, because I think I had another company in my hand. He was thinking actually Ghost Squadron is something, which is definitely not something you want to do. I know I had Eternal Witness, I think, in my hand, so that I could get back the company and hopefully try to flip combo pieces. But I know about Wrath in his hand, so it makes things kinda complicated. Attacking for 2 with the Seer. That attack is essentially free. Might as well. Now you see there's a Ghostly Prison in his hand. That's the 3 mana enchantment, which says that you gotta pay 2 mana for each attacker, otherwise it doesn't attack. Cast Eternal Witness here. I don't have mana for the company just yet. No, I think I actually had 1 more land here. But this means that he can then activate Wayfire and get the 4th land for the Breath of God. On the other hand, no matter what, he won't be able to actually play that Wrath, because I think he would need to use that 1 mana to use the Wayfire. Has the Squadron Hawk as well, and he decides to cast that, which is okay. I don't mind those, even though I'm at 4. But it takes time to cast all of them, and they attack just for 1 damage. So perhaps I should have actually played that land and cast that company end of turn. I could have also used up the wall to cast a witness, and this way I would have the 4 mana to cast a company. So I guess I was just a little bit overthinking this. So if I would have like used the wall on my turn, then I would have had the 4 to cast a company. So now I'm definitely like casting the company because he's 2 turns away from casting a ref unless he just top decks that land. If I flip some things and no way to complete the combo there, then Kitchen Thing still jumps back and I get to scry a bunch of times. I flip Viserys Kitchen Things and I just happen to draw the second Melira. One of the reasons to actually play a couple of Meliras and 2 Inoffensives, so 4 creatures with that effect, so that you can actually hit them much more often. And I'm not a fan of playing 3 Inoffensives in the deck. So infinite life for me, and he doesn't really have a good way to push through that, because of course he can just draw a 4th land, cast Wrath of God, but my stuff, Kitchen Things jumps back, he kills his things too, and he might actually have that white land in his deck, which I believe shuffles back in some cards from hand on the bottom of the library, something like that, so that he would not deck himself. But I think the odds of me actually finding enough pressure or finding the combo once again, the damage combo, would be much greater than him trying to fight all that. And of course, like with infinite life, I would have a lot of time. So that's all sad, even given if he plays that land that puts cards back into his library. That's the tapped white land from Shadowmoor or something. I think it's only used because of Squadron Hawks, so that's its primal purpose, but also for situations when you're playing against a fair deck and the match is like lasting forever. But because of that land, you have no reason to scoop, even if you're at losing position, but you have a lot of life. So, and because of Ghostly Prison of Wrath of God, so you can still like stabilize the game. But against decks with infinite combo, you're much better off just scooping it up quickly, even if you can somehow deny the inevitable. Just go to the next game and hope that you can bring enough hate and draw it and negate the combo and just start hitting with those 6/6 flyers or some other flyers. I think he's taking out Ghostly Prisons and bringing in Avon. For my part, I think I brought in Lindvala, I brought in the Oars of Pontiff, Quasali Pride Mage. Though I'm not sure. If I didn't, I should have brought it in. It's not terrible on its own either, even if he doesn't draw that Ghostly Prison, for example. What else I brought in? To Abrupt Decays. So, I think I didn't bring in the Pride Mage, because Decays answer it, and I can. Okay, I can't like. I can't fetch up Decay. Well, I can fetch up like Pride Mage with Cord. But Ghostly Prison is the only answer, and I can always just threaten the combo, and sometimes just pay mana for it, and still keep on attacking. When he has 2 Ghostly Prisons, yeah, that's annoying, but if his action are just prisons, then I can just go for the combo and try to win that way. So luckily, I don't care about how much life he has. I only need to care to not to die to his ascendants, pretty much, and not overextend too much in the face of potential Wrath of Goods. I cited out a Spellskite, I think, and then a couple copies of the Melira combo package, because I still have the Archangel of Foon plus the Spike Feeder, which luckily play around stuff like Rest in Peace and Relic if he's cited them in. I think I maybe cited out to 1 bowl or fruits or something like that for those 4 cards that I mentioned I brought in. He starts and he mulligans. He does have a land, at least one. He does have Wayfarer, so it's a bit of a risky keep, I suppose. He ships it away, though, still. I was explaining something goofy to him here, not directly related to this matchup. Goes down to 5. Not a great place to be when you need a lot of stuff to fight through my combo. Has at least 1 land, as I see. Flagstone of Trocaire. He has a path, I think. Scry sees a plains on top, keeps that. Wayfire, turn 1. Fetching a land, unplaying a noble. Fetched Temple Garden, so went down to 17. Attacks with the Wayfarer, because I don't block here. Take it. And then the funny stuff happens, he actually passes, so I assume that he doesn't have the second land and he capped his hand because of the Wayfarer. So I'm trying to Jedi Mind Trick him and not play my second land and just play 2 mana dorks here. So I'm still able to cast my stuff while he doesn't really can do that. So he tries to Jedi Mind, so he wins the Jedi Mind Trick here by pathing one of my guys, giving me the second land so that he actually can fetch up with Wayfarer. But I deny searching a land from the path because I have lands. I just decided not to play the second land this turn. And I have mana dork, so I have the mana I need. But he had that second land in hand anyway, so yeah, that was nice sequencing for him. So he tricked me on top of my tricks, basically. And cast a second Wayfarer. I think he's card in his hand. It's a Proclamation of Rebirth. Okay, casting here an offense and then Milira so that I get a bolster trigger. Then passing the turn. I'm already at 13 because of a couple of attacks and Shocklands and Fetchies. He has a Martyr of Sense in hand. He can't yet fetch with the Wayfarers. I'm not sure he should have played that second Wayfarer there, because that doesn't really accomplish much. But keeping that Wayfarer in hand could have meant more life with Martyr, which is, I think, more essential because of stuff like Ascendant. Three mana, casting Kitchen Things here. Have to bolster the Noble, getting a couple lives. If I would have had like a Corticolin in my hand, that would have meant a combo here. But I don't know that he has a path in hand already. I don't know that. Even though you saw it. But when I played the match, I definitely didn't have that information. Later I would know because he would just crack the Martyr. This is a bit of a weird block. I don't think there was a reason to chomp with the Wayfarer here. Of course it's fine to block with the Martyr because he's about to sacrifice it. He shows me an Avon and a Proclamation. Okay, blocking with Wayfarer makes more sense now. I think I had the third land, I just didn't play it. So that he cannot use the Wayfarer. I didn't have much gas in my hand anyway yet, so didn't matter not having that third land in play. I think he drew a Breath of God here, not entirely sure. Trying to decay his guy so that I can actually now play my third land here. Playing it with 2 damage so that I can cast a number of Kitchen Things. Now I'm sort of proof for the Breath of God. I would have 2 Kitchen Things bounce. Bolstered something when the second Kitchen Things came in. Decided to put that counter on the fence and then attack with the team. So that's attacking for 8. Goes down to 15. Just draws a Ranger of Eos, pretty unfortunate for him. So, not a very interactive game as it turns out. Apart from all those Jedi mind tricks. Thinking, what should I do here? I have a Fiend Hunter in hand. And I think like another Kitchen Things or something. So attack with the team, he takes buttload of damage. Falls down to 2. Even if I would have played like a creature, bolster guy, he would just go down to 1. So nothing here, so I just take down this game 2 as well. And because this was not a very fun game, so we decided to continue with game number 2. He's changing a couple cards in his configuration here. Oh yeah, okay, so now he actually takes away the prison. Although I'm not sure it's correct to cite all of them out, because I'm still like a creature-based deck. So when he has like a path to stop me from comboing, prison buys him a lot of time. So there is that. Depending on how many he plays, I assume something like 3 copies in the 75. I'm fine on cutting 2 copies or something and keeping just 2 or maybe at least 1 off. It's not amazing in this matchup, but it's gonna buy him a lot of time to draw some answers for the combos. So we're hoping for a real game 3 here. Game 1 was okay. Both of our attacks did their thing, and if I wouldn't have hit the combo, I would be in a lot of trouble, actually. Of course, I could have just drawn into another path or a Fiend Hunter or something, but then he would have time to get to Wrath of God. So, I don't know. I also had a very unlucky company flip there, just into 1 noble and nothing else. So I think the game was sort of balanced. My draws weren't absolutely insane, that's what I mean. It's game number 3. Pondering our hands. His hand has a couple of lands, so and some early action. Sounds like a keeper to me. We decided to put me on the play here so that we have some diversity and not just him starting all the time. So starting with Bird, he just laid down a Martyr of Sense just like this, which is a bit dangerous, although I'm not sure. Maybe he just didn't want to do nothing here, but playing it down here just like this doesn't really accomplish much. I didn't have a lot of action in my hand, although it seems like I have a good draw, but I didn't have much of like real action like Company or Chord. I had an Eternal Witness and a Horizon Canopy to get some draws going, to draw into the big impact card. So second land, he has a path in hand to stop the combo in case bad things happen. He, I think, decided to pull up the Martyr at the end of turn. At the end of my turn or something. Shows me 3 cards. That means plus 9 lives. Life points, I mean. Goes to 21 and decides to also path the Seer here. It doesn't make much sense to cast it now. He could do it on my upkeep, so no reason to actually do that now. Now he flashed it in, but well, he would cast it anyway. This is a weird turn. I guess he's just bumped up emotionally that the matchup is kinda bad for him, I would say. Horizon Canopy. Plus, like, Martyr deck is not the deck he has most experience with. He most of the time plays Affinity in Modern. Play a Kitchen Fangs, missing the third piece. Path on the Seer at the end. I just sacrifice my guy in response to get to Scry. Also, it's important because I sided out one Viserys here and have only one sacrifice outlet left in my deck after sideboarding. So I definitely don't want that guy exiled. So it's a really important factor. He plays Relic of Progenitus, which could be tricky. He decides to just make me exile a card. In response, with the Noble, I eat the Canopy and exile the lands. He can still here to make me exile the Seer just by cashing in the Relic. He ends up not doing that, hoping to catch me and exile more stuff with it. I suppose his deck plays Relic over things like Rest in Peace because he still has Reclamation of Rebirth in his deck, so he kinda uses his graveyard as well. Also the Emeria, the white legendary land that brings back creatures from graveyard into play when you have, I believe, 7 planes in play, at least. So yeah, makes sense to run the Relic over Rest in Peace in his deck. So, lay down the land, he can't respond to that. He can respond to the fetch. He doesn't do that. Then I thought I could sort of trick him by casting Collective Company in response to the Relic. But he can always just cash in Relic and make me exile that thing. Attacking for 4 with the Kitchen Things. He falls down to 25. That's still a lot of life. I also have a 4th land in the form of Emeria. There's that. He also has a Ranger Fuse in his hand. For more gas. Lays down a Ghost Quarter that's untapped land number 4. Makes no sense to use the Ghost Quarter here. And then some bad things gonna happen. You will see in a moment. Some not very smart things. So he is apparently tired of just sitting there doing nothing. So he taps out for Ranger Fuse, and I'm like, yeah, sure, that's cool. That's cool. No mana for exiling all cards from the graveyards with the Relic. Yeah, that's fine by me. I guess the problem is also that he has 1 Martyr of Suns in his graveyard, so if he has something like Proclamation of Rebirth or things that he can draw it sometime soon. So he doesn't really want to exile all graveyards here. Go for end of turn, Collective Company. I jackassly flashing Eternal Witness from my hand. But I don't flip what I necessarily want from that Collective Company. Though it's still not that bad. Monodoric plus Kitchen Things is a okay-ish flip. I think I know about the Refugat in his hand because of that Martyr of Sands early on. Laying down Townships. I can either use the Township and crack in for some damage, or go for Witness plus Company and trying to hit the combo. I think my draw for the turn was 2nd Witness. So I have a lot of options here and my head is bumping. I want to take this opportunity to return back something I actually want with witnesses while he's tapped out. I do want back that company, and I'm only missing one piece. So I decide to go for first to cast one witness. He responds by making me exile a card, exile a fetch land. So witness is free to go and grab back something. So I take back Seer with that one because I can still cast a second witness and get back the company here. All of this doesn't play super well around of Wrath of God, but I would still have well, if you would have a fifth land and a Wrath of God here with a online relic next turn, then he could just with the persist triggers on the stack from the kitchen things exile them, so he would eat a lot of my creatures here. And because of stuff like that, or Path to Exile, I decided not to play with the Sorcerer, even though I had mana to play it. Active Relic just makes me not want to expose it here to any risks, and he has a Path to Exile in hand. And because I'm only one pace away from the combo A, I don't want all this stuff to happen, especially get my Seer Exiles. I'm reminding you, only one copy left in the deck, one sacrifice outlet. Because I run Archangel plus Spike Feeder, there's only room for two Viscerseers, and I sided out one. He casts a Martyr of Sand here. Then he's tanking for a while. He can crack it and then cast Proclamation of Rebirth to bring both Martyrs back to play. But then gives me a window to get the combo. He decides to play the Ascendant here because he can probably make it going. I think before he played the Ascendant, he should have cracked in the Martyr, because though I don't know, Martyr allows him to block and then still crack it, but it's way less life. Maybe it's anyways enough so to make the Ascendant active. He has so much stuff on board, so I feel fine just casting the company here, which finds me only the Spike Feeder. Which is not great, but not the worst. Now if I can naturally draw or just court in Archangel, I have the combo regardless of his relic in play. Because stuff like relic or the Black Spellbomb or Rest in Peace do exist, and also Scavenging Ooze, having access to Spike Feeder Archangel combo is a good thing to have. I just passed the turn and he end of turn cashed in the Martyr. Don't quite see what he drew for the turn. Perhaps it's just another path. He's at 31, so Ascendant is on. It's a 6/6 flying lifelinker. He cracks in. I don't want a chump block here yet. Gets another Ascendant there. Now if I draw removal, I can maybe get rid of that Ascendant and Kraken for a bunch of damage. And put him low enough in life so that his Ascendants are off. I mean the second one. Casting the Sorcerer first. Don't remember exactly why I wanted to do that. Because I drew the Voice of Resurgence. Seems like a card which is not particularly amazing in this kind of matchup, but combined with a Sacrifice Outlet, it's pretty good. It provides a massive heater. He goes for Path to Exile on my Viscerer in response to the Voice, which is not the worst that could happen. Get to Scry. I think I put it to the bottom. I think it was a land or something. Or just a creature which doesn't get me close to the combo. I think it was just a kitchen things. At this point I want a removal for an Ascendant or like some combo piece. I have mana to activate Township, just in case. He goes for Ghost Quarter in the Township. I activate it in response. Even though I scry to the bottom, it's still okay, like, to get a land here. So everybody gets a counter. Spike Feeder is at 3 counters now. The land is untapped, but it doesn't matter. 4 mana. He has another land, Rebirth and Linvala. Cracks in with Ascendance. All my flyers are tapped, so I just take it, go down to 5. That's not great, but what can you do? I still have blockers for next turn. He casts Linvala. It switches off pretty much all of my combos. In response to Linvala, I take away 1 counter from Spike Feeder to gain couple life. I don't want to just eat it away, because if I top deck a Corridor Calling or something, I can get an Archangel. Though with Linval in play, that means I can't go for combo. So Corridor Calling is still good here, because that allows me to get a Thin Hunter and then hide away his Linvala. And then something like another chord gives me a win. Well, I drew the Path to Exile that gets rid of the Linvala, so that still gives me a chance. He makes me exile a card, that doesn't matter. Exiling the Township. He has 2 Ascendants. I can take in one of them and go to just down to 1 life. Yeah, he's just fetching a land from my path on his Linvala. His guys are tapped, and I'm trying to make him below on life so that his Ascendants are off. Even for the Ranger, he... Well, this is not gonna put him below 30 anyway, but the next attack probably will. Even with the Relic in play, I don't mind Kitchen Things actually persisting after he blocks with the Ranger, but he doesn't have the mana to eat the Relic. So he definitely doesn't want to block the Voice, because that gives me a massive attacker. No reason to do that. So the last logical thing is to block one of the Eternal Witness. And I kinda miss an interaction here, because I can pay 2 and put a counter from Spike Theater onto some creature. Like put 2 counters onto the Witness so that my Witness doesn't die, but that doesn't matter. And keeping both counters on Theater still makes me, gives me an out with chords, or just drawing the Archangel. Although I don't know that he has an Aven in his hand, so if I would go for a chord, he can cripple that by playing the Aven, so that I would only look at top 4 cards instead of the whole deck. Plays in the Martyr here, still doesn't pull trigger in that Rebirth, but soon he might be. He wants to keep the mana up for the Aven. Makes sense for him to just attack here, forcing me to chump, at least with 1 bird. Because here it doesn't make much sense to block both, because I can afford to go down to 1, so that's what I do. 1 bird goes away. He gives me back the turn. So I have a lot of outs, and something like Fin Hunter would help me to get rid of 1 Ascendant and maybe block the other one and hope to get another answer or get the combo going. Go for to the combat step and just simply attack with everybody but the bird. I think my throw was a blank. He can flash in the Aven here, but with that Proclamation of Rebirth, I think he calculated that he doesn't actually have to, and he doesn't want that Aven to die. That too, because it's just a 2/1. It will die by blocking any of these creatures. So there is that. So he takes it all in, goes down to 20. That switches off Ascendance. I think so. If he doesn't like have anything, well, I still can gain life from the Spike Theater, but I decide to play the Noble anyway, so that I don't have to use the counters from the Spike Theater. After all, I'm just at 1 life. But here's the deal. Okay, he drew the second Proclamation of Rebirth, but apparently, well, if he would have drawn just a land, I could have stand a chance. Of course, he could have just cast in the Relic to have another go to draw another white card. Goes for the Proclamation, brings back to play 2 Martyrs. He has 2 cards in hand. 2 spells. He's cashing in them both. Each one gives him 6 life. So he goes to 32 and just cracks in, and I have a blocker only for 1, and there is that. Like the 4 life from the feeder wouldn't help. 4 life from the feeder wouldn't be enough. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know about any misplays or interesting lines of play. Don't forget to subscribe. I see you next time. Until the next sale, goodbye.